Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Patience. Thanks for checking out this video. I know guys, it's been a bit of time since I was last on here. Been meaning to make this video since September, but yeah, I hope as I start explaining what's been going on with me in the last few months, you'd come to some kind of understanding as to why I have not really been posting on here. Yeah, as the title suggests, I'm getting older, I'm going through some things. I just wanted to come on here to update you, to encourage us women, and to also gain support from our men, because yeah, things have not been that amazing. But in saying that, having my faith has what's been giving me strength and seeing me through any difficulties that I've been facing. Granted that most of it, I'd say, is probably been all in my head, but it's been having a negative impact on me, and I've been struggling to just make sense of things. But now I'm in a much better place, both physically, mentally, and able to sit down and record this video for you guys today. Okay, so let's go back to November of 2022. Yeah, we're in 2024 now. So yeah, November 2022, I developed what is known as frozen shoulder on my left shoulder. At the time, I didn't know what it was until a few months after the injury, I sought medical attention. I'm stubborn like that. So I was at work and one of my tasks involved me overreaching. And as I was overreaching to complete a task, to my knowledge, I felt I pulled a muscle in my left shoulder. It was so painful. Even putting on my coat was difficult. Getting dressed, undressed was very difficult. I initially felt like, when you sleep bad and you get all numb and with a bit of aches, I thought it was that. So I figured, okay, in a few days, I'd get back to normal. But no, it just kept persisting. Again, because then about a week later, I was on annual leave from work. I didn't really bring it up to the workplace. I kind of just left it because I wasn't going to be at work, overreaching and doing my usual movements whilst at work. But whilst I was off, I experienced a week of depression. It was a very, very difficult time for me. During that time, I'm already quite introverted. I was like hiding myself away, didn't want to speak to anybody. Even my own family, I was just like having minimal contact with them, and just going through things in my mind and just making things out to be bigger than they actually were. Just feeling really sensitive about things, so just felt like it was the best to just keep myself to myself. And the longer I kept doing that, the worse I was getting. But then, towards the end of that week, I got really frustrated that I was feeling the way I was feeling without really understanding why. I decided then that, I'm going to just seek some advice. I decided then that enough is enough and I don't like feeling this way and I want to find out why I'm feeling like this. But whilst I was off work, I was at home just doing normal housework, chores and stuff like that, but always in pain. Like at bedtime was difficult. I wasn't sleeping. I was having insomnia. Anything I'd move my arms to do, I was in pain. I remember on one occasion I went to go and just open curtains and the pain was so excruciating. I just started crying and my youngest was with me at the time and we were just like, Mum, what's wrong? Poor son, he was just like thinking, what's wrong with Mum? And I was just crying uncontrollably because the pain was just so unbearable. And that was when I was like, okay, you know what? I need to phone the doctors. I'm actually going a bit ahead of myself. But anyway, I had my time off work. I went back to work. And I remember it was end of year now, so from November into December, and they were having their yearly Christmas do. I don't go to these things. I always keep myself to myself. But on this occasion, I was just like, you know what, let me go because I need cheering up. So I went along with my two boys, because it was like a family event, like with meal and music. So we went, and I actually, had a bit of fun. So that helped with my mood. Um, then January, February came now, and February I had annual leave again. I had wanted to book a ticket to Ghana, but I didn't, just because the price was ridiculous. So this is of February of 2023, and we had decided as a family that we were going to go that summer. So I just said it didn't make sense me going and then having to pay for tickets again to go. Just didn't make financial sense at the time. Um, I started feeling burnout as well. So the curtain scenario that I just gave you happened during this annual leave that I had in February. I was with my boy, and yeah, that, as I said, that pain was so unbearable. That was when I was like, right, okay, I need to book and see the doctor. When I called, they were like, they don't have no appointments for about 3 to 4 weeks. And I was just like, oh my goodness, please, like, I need to see someone. I'm not sleeping. I'm feeling depressed about this whole thing. And the receptionist was like, okay, we've got the physio here. And from what you've described to me, I think the physiotherapist will be able to see you. And I was just like, you know what, please, just anyone. I just need to see someone. So they booked that for me. And that was like the following week. So I only had to wait a week to see the physiotherapist. So went along to the appointment. And after the physiotherapist did some tests, like, got me to do some exercises, like arms out, all this stuff. He then came back and told me that what I had was called frozen shoulder, and explained that it happens to mostly females of a certain age, of which the age bracket I fall in. And explained that sometimes as well, people with diabetes. Now, I have a sweet tooth, like I like sweet things. I can't have sugar in my hot drinks because it makes me feel sick. But anything else, like desserts, chocolate, love my chocolate. Um, yeah, sweet tooth. So I was just like, I made a mental note then that I'm going to start cutting back if this is going to be an issue. So when he told me frozen shoulder, I now had a name. I instantly felt a bit better. I also found that they can take anything from 18 months to 24 months for it to resolve itself. I just immediately felt much better because I could see light at the end of the tunnel. So he booked an appointment with me to have a follow-up with the hospital physiotherapist, and that one was going to take a while. And I had to wait for the hospital to contact me once they had a slot. And so that was going to be a few months down the line. So armed with this new information, when I got home, I started Googling. I went on YouTube, finding about frozen shoulder, found these short videos of little exercises that you could do to help improve the situation. So I started doing those and putting them into my daily routine, and that really, really helped a lot. But even during all that, I was still fighting the depression. Sometimes it'd come, for about a day. Then I'd kind of sort myself out again. It'll go, and it just kept like. So I was just going through a month of like ups and downs. Some days I'd have dips, other days I'd have highs. I was experiencing burnout even whilst I was editing, posting videos. I was just like, sometimes I just really didn't feel like doing anything, but I was just pushing through. I'd have people emailing me, asking me for help, like, with their situation with their buildings, and asking me, to basically information on who they can turn to. Sometimes I just was not like feeling it. Even silly comments on my videos were getting to me. Normally, I just don't let things like that get to me. As I said, I was just feeling highly sensitive about things. And so come to the summer now when we're getting ready to go. That's when we found out about the mold and damp issue in the house. Not that that's when we found out, but that's when we decided that we're going to do something about it. Again, normally I'm like, okay, I see there's a problem, we have a solution, cool, we're gonna solve it. But it was just making me feel so stressed out. Everything was just like times 10. And I was just like, oh, I really just don't like the way I was feeling. And usually, leading up to my birthday, I normally start feeling a bit down because you start thinking back, like you've just had a year, like what have you achieved? Like being hard on yourself. I was just being exceptionally hard on myself. Came to Ghana, even though I was there with family, we were having a good time, but then sometimes I wasn't feeling it. I didn't record as much as what I'd intended to record. So even some of the footage was like that I had that I was going to make videos with. Some of them was incomplete, so then I couldn't really use them. So then when I came back to the UK now in September, I was just like, okay, so let me backtrack. So before we went to Ghana, I had an appointment with the physio on the phone, and they asked me, like, in terms of the pain, how far along it was. They gave me like these stages of what you go through with the frozen shoulder. So the first part's like the frozen stage where you're in this pain, and then it starts and then the second phase where it's kind of thawing out, where you can have some movement, but you might still feel some pain. And then the third phase where the pain is gone, but still movement's restricted, and that's when you really push the exercises to try and get you back to like full on, like, I don't know if it's a word, movability. So after going through that, they just said, okay, based on that, I'd come in for the face-to-face physio sessions after my trip back from Ghana, which then I did. And I was having, so the first one was like every 4 weeks, then every 6 weeks, and then the final one was like 8 weeks after, and then I got signed off, thank God, because I'd made such a big improvement, and this was like basically like about a year, whereas most people it took them like 18 months to 2 years. Because as I said, I'm quite stubborn. Once I knew that there was a resolution at the end of it, I was just like, I'm pushing for it now because I want my arms to be working. I don't want to be getting older and be in this pain for life. So during that time as well, while I was in Ghana, I was also like going through other physical things as well as my shoulders. I think I noticed, I always used to say to my family and friends that, oh, I think I'm going through menopause, and then they just kind of like laugh it off and just be like, oh, stop it silly, and then they'll tease me about it a bit. Oh, you're getting old, ha ha ha. Or don't be silly, you're not old enough for menopause. And I'd be like, I know I don't know too much about it, but the way my body's going, I was going through months where I would have like no bleeding, and then other months where I'd just be bleeding constantly throughout the month. And it was just being up and down. And even that, with that being said, when I think back to it, that's been going on for probably the last 2, 3 years now. But I was kind of really wasn't, my mind really wasn't there on what that was. What I was thinking was menopause. So while I was in Ghana during the summer of 2023, again, I was just doing some research, and then I found out about perimenopause. Now, what is perimenopause? So it's like pre-menopause is the stage you go through before you actually hit menopause, because menopause is when no menstrual period at all. And this stage can happen to women between any time from the ages of maybe 30, 35 up to age 50. You know, for some women, the age range is slightly different. So then I realized that this is what I'm going through because there was other symptoms that I couldn't explain. This was explaining my mood swings, my mental health, the changes with my body, um, just I was experiencing brain fog. Brain fog. Oh my goodness. You'd be talking to me, I'd lose my train of thought halfway through a sentence. You know, one minute I'd be feeling okay about something, the next minute not so good. I'd gone off like sex. Hope there's no young people watching right now. I like touch. I just didn't want any touch. One minute I'd feel for touch, then I wouldn't want any touching. I felt so sorry for my other half. We have to pray for our husbands during this time, and husbands, you need to educate yourself about this so you can also support your women, because it's not easy. I'm telling you now. I also, discovered that during this phase of a woman's life, this is when a lot of divorces take place, because people are not understanding what is going on with them, with either themselves, and the partners are not understanding what's going on with their women. So I think both parties need to educate themselves, because you can avoid a lot of these separations that are happening unnecessarily. I think sometimes, you know how when people, especially women, when they get older, they become a bit more certain of themselves, and they know, like, I don't like this, or I like this, and so they're a bit more vocal about it. I've definitely become a bit more vocal about what I like and don't like as I've gotten older, whereas before I would just be like, okay. But now I'm a bit like, you know what, I'm a bit more assertive with myself as well. Even with myself, is like what I'm willing to accept and not accept for myself. Yeah, I mean, I might be making light of it, but it's not a nice thing to be going through, and feeling like, nobody else kind of understands. As I said, majority of women will have symptoms, be it or not all the symptoms. But look out for, I'm going to definitely post a video explaining what perimenopause is, and I'll post a list of the symptoms on that video as well. But for me, what I was going through, oh my goodness, as well as the brain fogs, the insomnia, I'd go through phases where I'd go 72 hours without no sleep. I had a little mental breakdown a few months ago, just in tears, just feeling like, what is my purpose on this earth? Like, just questioning myself. That was not a nice time either. Again, that depression state. Um, I think whenever I just get a bit of time to when I'm supposed to have a breather, that's when I just start thinking too much, and then so I'm usually always busy, busy, busy on the go, go, go. As soon as I have a bit of like downtime, start thinking too much, over analyzing everything. I wasn't sleeping, so oh my gosh, trying to get through a week without sleep, nightmare. I've gone through a few phases where, like, for 3 nights, I just can't sleep. I'd be lying down, just can't shut off. My mind would just be on, and trying to fall asleep is just, yeah, that was not nice. And I know people always think that menopause, perimenopause is just hot flushes. Yes, I've had a bit of that, but that's actually not even been the the thing that's been, you know, getting to me. I get it every now and then, but not that much. Um, Not like some of the ladies that I used to work with in my old workplace, where every few, feel like every few minutes they just be like constantly fanning themselves. You'll be cold and they want to put the aircon on, and you're like, no, I'm cold. But yeah, shout out to the ladies at Tommy's. I miss you guys individually. I love you guys. As a collective, nightmare. But yeah, the symptoms are plenty. So brain fog, the hot flashes, the mood swings, um, not really wanting to be touched, and then wanting to be touched, but then within the same breath not wanting to be touched. But as I said, yes, we need to pray for our husbands, okay, during this time. Yes, and then sometimes, like, along with that, you'd have the night sweat. Sometimes you'd feel really hot, then you feel really cold, and that's a weird sensation. But it's not even just during the night; it'll be during the day. You'll just be there feeling hot 1 minute, then not, then feeling cold, and everyone's looking at you like, what's wrong with you? And you're the only one that's thinking the room's too cold or too hot. Mood swings, um, just some mental health, emotions, and my how I felt within myself, my body. Just making some decisions to maybe exercise more, because I realized that I wasn't really exercising as much as well. So exercise more. Something I like to do is just put music on and dance. That really helps my mood as well. So, you know, you dance and just, you know, make yourself happy. Just do whatever you feel is good for you. I know some people go gym, they go swimming. So yeah, just making that decision to, now that I've kind of found out a bit more about it, and when I'm not feeling like myself, just recognizing that. I know some people go as far as having things like HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. I haven't, for myself, I haven't decided yet if I feel like I'm at that stage where I should or shouldn't have it. Ideally, I'd prefer not to have it, but again, I'm still researching just to see what I feel is best for me. But it's up to every woman to decide for themselves. I just think there's no point suffering in silence. Another thing I found was that when I was doing research, there wasn't very many people, of our color, Black people, really talking about it. I think I probably saw one or two, and they were like shorts videos. But in terms of the discussions that were being had, it was with our Caucasian counterparts, and not even just women, like some men, but obviously they were medical professionals who had insight into what I'm talking about now. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video. I feel strongly about talking about this thing because I realized that not many women are talking about it. But you're not the only one. As long as you live to become an old lady, you're definitely going to go through it. Especially now that we're all living a bit longer than how we used to live 50 years ago. So yeah, I feel like I'm waffling on now, so I think I'm going to end the video here. But I know I didn't have to come on here and explain myself while I've not been online. I just felt inclined to do so. I know some people care. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm still around. I've been watching other people's videos and commenting, just not posting my own. But bear with me. I'm still not gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna be posting every week because I'm still not there yet. But please look out for videos. I've got something exciting happening at the house. I can't wait to share with you guys, but you're gonna have to hold on. I'm excited about it, and I hope you will be too. For those of you who've just discovered my channel, this is not my usual content, but I'm happy to have you here. But please do subscribe to help support your girl and to help the channel to grow. And just remember, guys, that in all your endeavors to trust God, have patience and believe for it. And until the next video, guys, have a blessed day. Bye.